Good morning, everybody. Welcome to IGTV, and with me this morning is mor2 from RSA, the Security Division of EMC, and this is their Fraud Action Research Labs over in Israel. And Mor, why don't you take it away and start the segment off? We're going to be talking about distributed denial of service attacks and a number of different things. So go ahead, Mor, take it off.
Thanks. So, just to clarify what distributed denial of service attacks are, basically when a website is overwhelmed, its resources are exhausted to the point where it can't provide service to online users, that's when it gives a denial of service message. And when we say distributed, that means that hundreds or thousands of different computers are used to exhaust the web server to the point where it can't provide legitimate users with service. Now, it's important to note that what happens is there's a web server that sits behind a website, and when it's being flooded with traffic, then two things happen. Its processing power is used up to the maximum, and its internet bandwidth is clogged to the point where no new users can get to the website, and it can't provide any service. Just as an anecdote, sometimes when there's breaking news and so many people are looking for a certain news story, and they go into Google or go on the news site and look for this breaking news story. Sometimes websites think that they're under a DDoS attack, well, they're actually not. That actually happened with Michael Jackson's death. And Google and several news websites thought they were being attacked while they were actually being flooded with legitimate users. So Joe, today what we're going to do, I'm just going to give some recent examples of DDoS attacks from the media. We'll then look into how DDoS attacks actually work. And then I'm going to briefly go over some systems that are used to protect websites from DDoS attacks.
All right, go ahead.
So, yeah? Okay. So, over the past 2 years, we've seen a lot of headlines that have to do with hacktivists targeting websites, high-profile companies and organizations with DDoS attacks. And just to clarify what hacktivists are, we're talking about individuals that are usually associated with some kind of underground community. What happens is these hacktivists get together to protest various issues, make a political statement, and gain public attention from the media, and basically put pressure on the powers that be to change their stance. Now, because they're a community, they can leverage their power, their numbers, as a group to generate massive amounts of web traffic. And so, Joe, you and our audience have probably heard of Anonymous and Team Poison, Anti-Sec, WorldSec, all hacktivist groups that have been making the headlines for the past 2 years. And as some of our viewers may also recall, they've targeted high-profile sites like Sony's PlayStation Network, the CIA's website, FBI, The Sun, which is the UK tabloid, Spanish police, and during recent turmoil in the Middle East, we've seen government websites of Middle Eastern countries being attacked, such as Egypt, Tunisia, Turkey. So I just want to recap on a recent set of DDoS attacks that made the headlines in the U.S., and that's when Anonymous targeted the RIAA and MPAA in protest to the SOPA and TIPA bills. So I'm just going to touch on how hacktivists launch a DDoS attack, and then I imagine we're going to have to take a break. So basically, hacktivists have two options when they want to launch an attack. They can either use their own system, their own computer, or they can use somebody else's system, say someone who has been infected with a computer Trojan. So the less sophisticated fraudsters are the ones who would use their own system, while the more savvy fraudsters who already have a botnet at their disposal would use that botnet to launch an attack.
All right, so why don't we take a break here, Mor? All right, and we'll be back right after these messages from our friends over at Cisco with more information from RSA, the Security Division of EMC, and this is their Fraud Action Research Labs over in Israel. We're talking about DDoS attacks and hacktivism, folks. All right, we'll be right back in a second, right after this commercial.